A diplomatic exchange unfolded during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Netherlands after reported remarks by Dutch Prime Minister. Jetten raised concerns about press freedom and minority rights in India. The comments, as reported by Dutch media, prompted a strong response from the Indian side, which rejected the observations as being based on a lack of understanding of India's democratic framework, civilisational history and social diversity. The issue was addressed during a media interaction in The Hague by the Ministry of External Affairs Secretary Sibi George, who responded to the questions from a Dutch journalist regarding India's internal affairs and the absence of a joint press briefing during the visit. Well, Sibi George firmly defended India's position, describing the country as a vibrant democracy with a civilisational legacy, spanning thousands of years and a population of 1.4 billion people. He emphasized that India's strength lies in its diversity, noting the wide range of languages, cultures, traditions and religions that coexist across the country. He underlined that India is unique in being the birthplace of several major religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism, all of which continue to thrive in modern India. He further highlighted the long historical presence of other faiths in the country, stating that Judaism has existed in India for more than 2,500 years without persecution, that Christianity arrived in the early centuries of the Common Era and has grown steadily since, and that Islam also became deeply rooted in Indian society after its arrival in the early Islamic period. According to him, this long record demonstrates India's tradition of coexistence and its role as a refugee and home for diverse communities over centuries. In addressing questions on governance and democratic functioning, he pointed to India's recent elections, noting that high voter participation that is reported at over 90% reflected the strength and inclusiveness of the democratic process. He said that India's development journey has been achieved through democratic means rather than violence, particularly in efforts in order to reduce poverty and improve living standards for its population. He also stressed that India, despite representing 1/6 of the global population, does not account for a proportional share of global challenges, presenting this as evidence of stable governance. He additionally referred to demographic trends, stating that India's minority population has grown from around 11% at independence to over 20% today, which he described as an indicator of inclusion rather than exclusion. He challenged critics to point to other countries where minority populations have increased in a similar way, reinforcing his argument about India's social structure. And the exchange followed reports in Dutch media, including De Volkskrant, suggesting that Prime Minister Jetten had raised concerns ahead of his meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi about developments in India, particularly regarding media freedom and minority rights, and had indicated that such issues are regularly discussed with the Indian government. However, it remains unclear whether all these remarks were made exactly as reported, and at the same time, Prime Minister Jetten has publicly stated that both the India and the Netherlands share strong commitments to democracy, good governance and a rules-that-is-based international order. He also referenced a long-standing child custody dispute that has previously been part of diplomatic discussions between the two countries. And the Indian side, while firmly rejecting the reported concerns, reiterated that India remains a strong and inclusive democracy that is shaped by deep historical roots, cultural plurality and a long tradition of coexistence, and emphasized the need for a more contextual and informed understanding of the country's internal relations. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.